Alright guys, it's Shalom with the Paradox Gaming Network, and you'll notice today it is Archeage Unchained. It is not Archeage Unchained 101. Today I'm not going to be doing a tutorial thing. I'm going to just be talking about Archeage Unchained, and is it really unchained or is it unchanged? I know there's a lot of unhappy people. Let's just jump right into it. And let's say that I understand why people are angry. I know a lot of people are expecting this video to be a rant and a rave where I'm going to flip a table. I'm just going to get up in Gamigo's face. I'm going to get up in Crolin's face. Let me tell you why I'm not that angry about everything that went on. But I do want to say, if you are one of those angry people, I understand. Let's just say that the Unchained launch has been a disaster. I know a lot of people like to make excuses for game companies that all game launches are bad. If we as gamers keep saying, well, all game launches are bad, then they're never going to be inspired to improve. So this point isn't towards Gamigo. This point is towards all the other companies that are going to be launching a game. It's cool if you make mistakes. Don't keep making the same mistakes every other company has made. Let's talk about that delay from 30 September to 15 October. This was a good thing. They took the time to realize they would have had to rush. They stopped, they slowed it down. They wanted some quality testing, so they said, we're going to delay it. The feedback from the community on the pay-to-win items, this was absolutely a good thing. A lot of things we wanted taken out of the credit shop and put into the diligence shop, those things happened because Crolin and the Archeage team were willing to listen to the community. And then making community requested changes. Not everything that we wanted to happen could happen, is even feasible or even a good idea. But the things that we asked, these were good things. But that's kind of where the good times end. So what went wrong? In retrospect, hindsight is always 2020. They didn't put Archeage Unchained through anything that resembles an alpha or a beta test. They kind of threw it up there on the media server. The media people took a look at it. And I watched a lot of my peers. There weren't a lot of people doing quality control testing. They were really just trying to push through, do things that were going to get them views. There were bugs and exploits, and these were identified on the PTS, and not all of them got resolved. Now, bugs, these are on Excel and Gamigo. If there are bugs and they're not fixed before launch, then the developer and the publisher get put on notice for those. But exploits are on us, the players. And then this is actually kind of funny. A lot of the problems that we're having right now is due to exploits. Everybody wants to play Archeage, but there's a lot of cheaters in the world. So if you're one of those people who did exploit and you didn't get banned, good on you. You cheated at a video game. What else went wrong? Name and character reservations went from 5 October, and they got moved at the last minute. And when I mean the last minute, I mean the day of reservations. They said, we're not going to do it today. And let me just clue you in on a little something from project management. This is a warning sign that something was wrong. When you're a couple of hours from go time and you have to push by a week's probably not enough. A week's probably a little too, ambitious. You probably should have pushed that launch date then. If you had to push an event before then, should have pushed the launch date as well. When they did have it, servers got filled and locked. This was another huge warning sign that they weren't ready. They didn't have enough places for people to go, and it didn't account for people who would join on day one. Now, when it comes to the servers, they specifically said that they would not lock servers. It is on one of their live streams, and one thing I do have to call Gamigo out for, it's really hard to trust you when you don't keep recordings of your live streams, especially the one on Friday, which I would love to have highlighted all the good things you said in it. You don't keep that as public record. So when I say, you said you wouldn't lock the servers, but I can't provide a soundbite, some people are going to say, well, where did they say that? And I'm going to just respond with, well, they don't even have Friday's live stream up, so no, I can't prove it. Now, locking servers is a necessary thing, so they shouldn't have said that they weren't going to lock the servers, but they did. They've said that people could move to the new servers. The problem is people already claimed packs. Now, this has been an issue 3 previous times for this Archeage team on Fresh Start servers. it shouldn't have been a surprise to Gamigo's Archeage team that you can't just tell people to go to a server and then when the queue is 4,000 people, oh, we're bringing up new servers. Just go to the new one. This is wrong. This is bad planning. They even said the usual, we have servers ready to bring online if we find that the wait times are too high. It took them hours to bring Kalen online. And then because they couldn't bring Kalen online relatively quickly, they had to shuffle the land claim dates and times. Now, is this a huge deal? No, I'm on Kalen. It's like a week and a half later from launch. There's still plenty of land. However, when you move the land claim time, you're breaking your word. You're going back on what you said. So when your integrity starts to take body shots, realize it's because of what you said. Moving with that, the Steam version did not come online on time. So this means anybody who was going to play through Steam, now granted, I acknowledge that all Steam does is launch the Glyph client. But there's some people who could only pay for Archeage Unchained with their Steam wallet. All that aside, they pushed Steam users to the 4th and the 5th server. So that means there were people who were separated from their friends, separated from their guilds, not only due to lockouts, but also because their platform wasn't integrated. And moving on with that, the grace period was not fully tested. This is another one of those, I wish Friday's live stream was a video so I could show this. They said, well, our previous grace system doesn't work with our current. Stop. Means you didn't properly test. Means you weren't ready to go. And I understand that ready, sometimes you're never ready. Sometimes you're just ready enough. But that's like you can eat a medium rare steak, but you don't eat medium rare chicken. This wasn't ready to go. So it created a horrible launch experience for people. Now, let's get into the Arc Pass, something like more significant than just traditional launch day issues. The Arc Pass is the key feature that makes Archeage Unchained different from Archeage. It was both broken and that having to rebuy dailies was known in the PTS. Croland said, well, it's an intended game design feature, but then it was only supposed to be an intended game design feature when you switched paths. But they went ahead anyway. So it would be the same as any other major MMO in their key game system not working. And there's other bits and pieces they knew about just to throw in there. The weapon boxes, the bows, different bits and pieces that they knew were broken. They didn't wait to get fixed. But not only was the Arc Pass broken, it was also exploitable. Several hundred gold a day for several days. Like we're talking 700, 800 gold a day for several days is what people were allowed to get. And what really kind of irritated me, the only really bad thing from Friday's live stream was the way Gamigo just disregarded the magnitude of this. It was like, yeah, we know that it was broken and it's all going to level out in time. No, wrong answer. You know that it was a problem. You know Archeage is a competitive PvP game, but you're just going to disregard an exploit. Some people were banned and then reversed. Some people admitted that they cheated and they got to keep the gold. Those are all the things that gives you a bad reputation. But the Arc Pass, another thing that was a huge warning sign, it wasn't set on the weekly rotation at launch. It was something Gamigo wanted to do. It was something Gamigo said would be done, but it didn't happen for launch. So what they wanted to do wasn't done, and this is yet another warning sign of a rush. If you're rushing, if you're bringing your game out feature incomplete, you're rushing, and this is how mistakes are going to happen. So how this exploit stacks up, people ahead of the pack had access to gold and labor. And this resulted in some fairly high equipment scores already. These are kind of ridiculous. On Friday, they said things would level out. But the Arc Pass is offline. So those who got ahead get to stay ahead. And other people cannot catch up. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it's hard work and it's this. No. Unfortunately, at this point, I'm going to cut you off there if you want to make that argument. There is literally no mechanic available to work hard with because the Arc Pass is offline. So if you got 3,000 labor, 6,000 labor, 12,000 labor from your arc passes by exploiting the world bosses, or maybe you didn't even exploit, maybe you just got lucky with your quest rolls, you still had access to a mechanic that is currently not in game. So the Gamigo waving of the hand, well, it's all going to level out. It's not going to level out. It's simply not. It's simply the pace is set. There's people ahead of it. They're going to stay ahead of it until they choose to slow down. Now, the future mistakes, this is one of those times where I'm calling it now, and hopefully somebody at Gamigo sees this so they think about it. Maybe this video gets, hey, did you watch Jay's video? You need to listen to this. They're going to open up one-way transfers. This will allow both people who did exploit and were not caught, as well as people who did not exploit but still benefited from a broken arc pass, to move from their servers to what I'm calling clean servers. Clean servers are just servers that were not influenced by the arc pass bug. And this absolutely should not happen. It's absolutely going to suck for people who get stuck on the servers, but your server is your server. The history of your server is the history of your server. How your server rolled out is how your server rolled out. Nobody should be allowed to transfer for months. I know it sucks. It's just how it is. It's how it should be. It's how it needs to stay. Now, I don't want to just beat up on Gamigo. There were things that did go right. And this is what really set the tone for this video. I spent the last day and a half trying to figure out how I was going to do this video. Krolin has done the best that he can do. Anybody who knows the history between Jalan and Krolin knows that we're not friends. We probably wouldn't sit down for a drink. We probably wouldn't be social with each other. We would be business professionals at like a PAX, but we probably wouldn't be going to the after party together. Mistakes were made, but he owned those mistakes. He apologized for those mistakes. Again, I wish I had Friday's video, and they really need to, if they have a copy of it, they need to put the video out, because the sincerity that Krolin showed means we're not going to just give up on Archeage. We wanted better as Archeage fans for 5 years. We wanted better from this launch. Honestly, we deserved better, but there was no better answer that he could have given on Friday. There was no magic bullet that would have made all this right. Now, I know the first thing some people brought up is server wipes. And I'm going to be honest, this is one thing Gamigo cannot avoid. I called for a wipe on day 4. Before the extent of the Arc Pass exploit was fully realized, they needed to use the data they got from the first 4 days as their alpha and beta. They needed to fix it. Then they needed to do a relaunch. That was the time to do it. At the end of the first week, they should have just come out and said, guys, there's a major problem with the Arc Pass. It's highly exploitable. There's people generating hundreds of gold. What we're going to do is we're going to take the servers down. We're going to reset them. We're going to take that data. Or hell, we're going to keep the servers up, but we're letting you know that we're using it as data gathering, and we are going to reset these servers. However, even I admit it's too late now. People aren't going to be happy with resetting 10 days of progress. People would, and I don't understand why people are going to be happier with this, but they're going to be happier knowing that they get to press on with their progress versus having it all reset. They'd lose too many players now at this point if they did a hard reset on the servers. I do have a solution that I think would help. We'll talk about that at the end. Now, the compensation they're going to give us, they will be issuing everyone a second pack that they can claim. They will be providing stipends of diligence coins and more to come on that. Now, the magic bullet that saves Archeage's reputation, this is what I think they should do. If they wanted to do the truly right thing, they would refund anybody who wants a refund. If you request a refund, you should just be carpet given a refund. It'd be like, if you file for your refund between 29 October and 2 November, you will be issued a full refund. Clear out those accounts. Just get those accounts off the books. Get the ARC packs fixed. Take a look at the server populations. And then, unfortunately, if you refund a lot of players, you may end up having to do evolutions. You may end up having to do forced transfers. That is the nature of Archeage, and everyone should have been ready to accept that. And then once you have the Arc Pass fixed, you have the populations fixed, you invite everyone back to a clean, exploit-free server, or servers, depending on how many people come back, because clearly there was a huge player base for Archeage Unchained. That's why we had queues. Sadly, they won't do this because it costs them money to do the right thing. My big takeaway for this one today, the fan base needs to become more patient. We rush companies and these things happen. We want it now, and then we can't want it now and want it right. We have to decide we're willing to wait for it to be right, or if we rush them, we take what we get. Companies need to do what Crowlin did, and I say this with all sincerity. Apologize for mistakes and recommit to excellence. Hey, it was bad. I have no excuses. It's broken. It's not an ideal situation. Here's how we're going to fix it. Here's how we're going to move forward. That's why I'm not flipping tables in this video, because it's really hard to attack somebody who is sincerely apologetic and committed to making it better. And then do not rush. For all the other companies out there, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take the time you need to get it right the first time. And with that said, guys, that is it for today. I know it's not an Archeage 101 video, but I do want to let you know I am working on the Archeage 101 website. My Discord is up. You can find a link to that in the description below. If you need something, you can PM me on Discord. I will try to get you the best answer I can get. Thank you to all the people who were doing research on Archeage Unchained and feeding me that information. Once I get a little bit more freedom in my creation timetable, I will try to get more Archeage Unchained 101s out. Until then, guys, you take care, and I'm really interested to hear your perspective on this video. What do you think about Archeage? Is it Unchained or is it just Unchanged? You guys take care. What are you still doing here? Nobody ever stays this long. This is the end screen. Well, since you're here, there's a couple other videos I think you should check out. And all those names, those are my patrons over at Patreon. I couldn't do this without them. So, big thanks to them for all their support.